Every morning, millions of Britons step off the pavement and onto a bus. It's a daily ritual connecting them to jobs, schools, and hospitals. This chart displays public transport use across the UK. 3.6 billion yearly bus journeys completely dwarf National Rail and London Underground combined. Furthermore, households without cars take 5 times as many bus journeys. With millions of people relying on this network to get to work, ticket prices function as a primary lever of national economic policy. Over the last few years, the cost of that ticket has shifted frequently. In 2023, the government implemented a £2 fare cap as a form of post-pandemic economic relief. By early 2025, the incoming administration argued keeping fares at that level was no longer affordable. They raised the cap to £3. Then came July of 2026. Within weeks of taking over Downing Street, newly elected Prime Minister Andy Burnham announced a reversal. Starting in January 2027, the £2 national cap would return. Politicians celebrate lowering the price of a ticket, but a £2 fare does not cover the physical cost of putting a driver in a seat and fuel in a tank. The difference has to be paid for elsewhere. You might think a bus company is a standard business, where passenger fares cover the routes. In reality, ticket sales cover only a portion of the actual operating costs. Look at this National Audit Office chart. In the 2023 to 2024 column, 50% of the industry's money comes from public funding. Scanning the table below, line items for gross public transport support and the fare cap are what keep operators afloat. Your local bus route operates as a subsidized public utility. Its survival depends on how much cash politicians are willing to allocate to the sector. Because of this reliance on public money, where you live dictates what you pay. When the national cap rose to £3, Sadiq Khan used the Transport for London budget to freeze single fares at £1.75. Greater Manchester also maintained a local £2 cap, but commuters in almost every other part of England were required to pay the £3 rate. Burnham is now taking the strategy he used as a regional mayor and applying it at a national scale to address transit cost inequality. Implementing this £2 cap nationwide for 2027 carries a steep upfront cost. The government must produce £454 million immediately. To find that money, Downing Street is reallocating cash directly from the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero budget. Furthermore, international climate finance initiatives are being converted into loans, freeing up the immediate domestic cash needed to subsidize these commutes. Supporting the daily cost of living for British citizens today involves borrowing against the nation's long-term climate goals. For commuters outside London, this represents a 33% reduction in daily transit costs starting in January 2027. This has a measurable effect on the industry. The original 2023 cap boosted ridership by up to 11% on some routes, providing stability for the operators running them. By reallocating net zero funds for bus fares, Burnham is prioritizing immediate financial relief for workers. It proves that cheaper transport is a policy choice, provided a leader is willing to make the budget cuts necessary to balance the ledger. UK transport policy, regional fare prices, and the funding mechanisms that pay for them shift rapidly. Understanding these economic trade-offs is necessary because they directly impact both personal finances and national priorities. To stay on top of live updates, breaking analysis, and local stories regarding these policy shifts, head over to Londoner News. Track the economic forces that set the price of your journey by staying informed with Londoner News.